Hello. Welcome to Sunday, another release of the Pirate Therapist podcast. I am Lee Perry. I am your host, and I welcome you here to this podcast where we explore what it means to belong, to feel, to grow, and to face some of life's challenges. Today, we're talking about something that I think touches all of us. It touches many lives and all of us, really, but it's often not really talked about. It's quite often misunderstood. I'm talking about depression. If you're listening to this right now and you're struggling, please know this. You are not broken and you are not alone. There is hope and there is help. In this episode, we're going to talk honestly about what depression feels like, how to manage it, how to help others who are struggling, and how to start finding your way forward toward the light, find your way out of that dark place. So let's talk about depression and what is it? Depression isn't just sadness. It's not something that you can just snap out of. It's not something that you can just walk off. It's an illness that affects your thoughts, your body, and your emotions. People often describe it as a heavy fog or a weight that makes everything harder, even getting out of bed. It makes feeling motivated difficult. Even believing that good things you once knew to be true, you start to question. You might feel tired all the time, disconnected from people, maybe numb, like nothing matters anymore. And that's what makes depression so isolating. It convinces you that you don't matter, when the truth is, you do matter. You matter deeply. What depression is, chemically and biologically, is it's not just in your head, it's not just an emotion, it's also in your brain and in your body. It's a condition where neurotransmitters, hormones, and brain circuits, if you will, they regulate mood and motivation, and those circuits get disrupted. Here's how it looks in the body: neurotransmitter imbalance. Your brain communicates through chemicals called neurotransmitters. The three most commonly linked to depression are serotonin, which helps regulate mood, sleep, appetite, pain. When serotonin levels are low or poorly regulated, it can cause sadness, irritability, and sleep problems. Dopamine. This is the motivation and reward chemical. Low dopamine can make you feel unmotivated, disconnected, or like you can't enjoy things that you used to love. There's a term for this called anhedonia. Anhedonia means the lack of pleasure or joy. Norepinephrine. This involves, that's the chemical. It's what involves our alertness and our energy. When the norepinephrine levels drop, people feel fatigued, foggy, and when levels spike, then anxiety can arise. These chemicals work together. So when one gets disrupted, it can affect all the others, like a musical trio suddenly out of tune. Like, I don't know, maybe you've been part of a singing group at some point, part of a choir, and the person next to you hits the note wrong and starts singing off key, and they can pull the people around them off key too. It's kind of like that. Your brain and your body talk through hormones. When life, stress, trauma, or chronic anxiety happens, your stress hormone, cortisol, can stay high for very long periods. High cortisol can shrink or weaken parts of the brain involved with memory and emotion, like the hippocampus. It can disrupt sleep. It can even increase inflammation throughout the body. Over time, this keeps your body in survival mode, exhausting your energy and resilience. Modern brain imaging, fMRI, shows that depression affects how the brain regions communicate. The amygdala, the emotion center, it can become overactive. The prefrontal cortex, that's the reasoning and self-control, becomes underactive. And the reward circuits, they lose sensitivity, which makes joy feel blunted. It's not that people with depression don't want to feel better. It's that the wiring temporarily stops responding to positive experiences in the usual way. New research also links depression to chronic inflammation. When the immune system stays activated from stress, poor diet, or illness, it releases inflammatory molecules that can interfere with the brain signals, worsening low moods or fatigue. This connection explains why lifestyle changes, sleep, exercise, nutrition, and stress reduction can be so effective alongside therapy and medication. The good news is, even though depression changes the brain and the brain is elastic. It's quick to heal. It can heal, it can rewire. Therapy, medication, exercise, connection, and time can help rebuild healthy neural pathways. Every act of care, every walk, every talk, every act of reaching out helps the brain rediscover balance. Depression isn't just sadness or weakness, it's biology. But biology is changeable. That means hope isn't just emotional, it's chemical too. Take a breath. Tell yourself that I'm still here, and that matters. Remember last week we talked about deep breathing, that cleansing breathing, that calming breathing. When you breathe in, fill your lungs up completely. When you breathe out, empty your lungs completely. And do this as slowly as you comfortably can. We don't want you gasping for breath. But if you breathe as slowly as you comfortably can, then you will be able to reduce your heart rate and help yourself calm. Depression doesn't only live in the mind, it changes your body too. It can affect sleep, appetite, focus, and energy. The brain's chemistry, it changes, lowering motivation and increasing fatigue. This is important to understand because it helps fight the idea that depression is some kind of moral failing. It is not weakness, it's an illness, and it deserves care, passion, and treatment, just like any other illness. Depression doesn't just live in your mind, it lives in your whole body. It's not just about feeling sad. It's about what happens inside your brain, your nervous system, and even your heart and muscles. It's a full body experience, and understanding that can make all the difference in how we treat it and how we heal from it. When you experience depression, your brain's chemistry shifts. Chemicals like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, which these all help control mood and energy and motivation and focus, these all become unbalanced. That imbalance affects how you think, how you feel. You might notice that your thoughts become slower, more self critical, or filled with doubt. You may struggle to make decisions or concentrate. It's not how it it's not that you've stopped caring or become lazy. It's that your brain's motivation system has dimmed its lights. Depression can make even small tasks feel overwhelming. That's because your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles planning and reasoning, it slows down, while your emotional centers, like your amygdala, become more reactive. So you might feel emotions more intensely, but have less mental energy to manage them. The emotional toll we get from depression, well, emotionally, depression can feel like carrying an invisible weight. You might feel disconnected from things that once brought joy. It can make you feel sad and heavy. It can make laughter feel foreign and hope seem like it's far away. Even moments that should be happy, like being with loved ones or doing something fun, can feel muted. This emotional numbing isn't weakness, it's your mind trying to protect you from further pain by shutting down excessive feeling. But in doing that, it also dulls pleasure, connection, and motivation. It's like your brain is saying, let's power down for a while, not realizing that you need that light to heal. On the physical side, depression shows up in the body. People often think that mental illness is just that, it's mental, but it's also physical. Here's what it can look like: chronic fatigue or low energy. Even if you slept all night long, you wake up tired because your body's stress systems are overworked. Sleep disruption. You might sleep too much or struggle with insomnia. Appetite changes. When some people are depressed, they eat more. When some people are depressed, they eat less. Some people find comfort in food. Some people find food to be a chore. And When they're depressed, they will either increase or decrease the amount of food that they take in. Body aches and pains. Real physical pain can occur, especially in the neck, the back, and the joints due to inflammation and muscle tension. Depression can weaken your immune system. You might get sick more easily because your body is in a constant state of stress. All of this happens because depression keeps the stress hormone cortisol elevated for long periods. Your body is meant to use cortisol in short bursts just to handle emergencies. But when we're stressed and that cortisol stays high, it drains energy, it weakens our immune system, and it alters how our brain functions. The body and the mind are always talking to each other, constantly sending messages through nerves and hormones and chemistry. When the mind is hurting, the body listens. When the body is tired or inflamed, the mind feels that too. It's a two-way street. Emotional stress can cause physical pain. Physical illness or exhaustion can deepen emotional pain. That's why dealing with depression often takes a whole body approach, combining therapy for the mind with care for the body. We need to get up every day. We need to get out of the house and we need to move. We need to stretch. That helps not just physically, but also mentally. Good nutrition, if we take care of the body, that has an overall effect on our mental well being as well. We need to rest. We need social connection. And sometimes, if those don't do it, we might be looking at more of a genetic depression. Good news is the brain and the body are remarkably adaptable. With love, support, and time, these things can heal. Neural pathways can rebuild, hormones can stabilize, and that fog can lift. Every healthy meal, every step outside, every deep breath, every time we speak with a friend, all of it sends a body a signal saying, I am choosing life again. Depression changes your body and your mind, but so does healing. So if you're listening and you've been feeling drained, heavy, or hopeless, please remember this isn't your fault. Your body is fighting hard. Your mind is trying to survive, and there is help. There's hope. Resources such as therapy, medication, support groups, even just simply changing daily habits, walking outside, enjoying the weather, journaling, reaching out and speaking with someone that you trust or you care about. These all have a way to start healing in that mind body connection. Now, when we're depressed, we will tell ourselves what I refer to as depression lies. So, what is a depression lie? A depression lie is when we tell ourselves, oh, well, I don't want to go out with my friends because I'm a big downer right now and I don't want to bring them down. Or perhaps I don't want to burden my friends. I don't have the energy to deal with people right now. Or any number of things. I'm not good enough for them. These are all depression lies. Now, how we can identify a depression lie is if you look at the end result of a depression lie is when the depression lie tells you these things, the end result always comes back to isolation. And isolation is depression thrives. When we isolate, when we cut ourselves off from the people that care about us, that depression gets stronger. And after a while, we pull away from all those people in our support system. And as we pull away from them, we convince ourselves that they left us, that the world has left us behind, that the world has abandoned us to sit in our depression by ourselves, which is another depression lie because it leads you back to isolation. It tells you how alone you are and how nobody cares. These depression lies are devious and they're not good. Healing from depression doesn't happen all at once. It's a series of small steps, a series of little activities that maybe on their own don't do a whole lot. But when you compile them all together, these small steps will have an overall positive impact on your recovery from depression. We have coping tools that we can use, such as a social connection, a support system, people who care about us. You can text a friend, even a small message You could say something like, "Hey, I could really use some company right now." That's really all you need. I hope all of us have friends that are willing to come running if we just say something as simple as that. I hope we all have friends that are willing to support us like that. We can create a routine, just a gentle structure in our day. It can help make things reliable for us, make them predictable. And while predictable isn't always fun, there is a lot of security to be had in predictability. You can sleep at the same time. You can have your meals about the same time. You can plan a time to get up and go for a walk, enjoy the sunshine and the fresh air. And we can plan times to sit down and rest. Now, one of my favorite things that I like to use when struggling with depression is music. Music is an amazing way to feel. When I'm having depression, I tend to want to go to depressive songs, which probably is not good because that will exacerbate the depression that I'm feeling. However, if I listen to upbeat, positive music when I'm depressed, that can kind of help start to shift that depressive thinking. Okay, we can also write or paint. Any kind of creative outlet can help us deal with depression. Mindfulness and self compassion. Replace what's wrong with me with something like I'm struggling, but I'm still worthy and I'm still fighting. I'm not done yet. When you're living with depression, healing can feel impossible, like you're standing at the bottom of a mountain, but you don't have the strength to climb it. But healing doesn't mean sprinting up the mountain. It starts with one small little step, then another and another, and eventually you will end up at the top of the mountain. Let's talk about how to begin finding your way back, how to help your mind and your body heal together. Give yourself permission to heal. The first step isn't about doing anything, it's about allowing yourself to heal. Depression often comes with guilt or shame. You might think, I should be stronger, or other people have it worse. But here's the truth: your pain matters. What you feel is your experience, and that is real. It doesn't require people believe that you should feel pain. What it requires is that you feel pain, and that is real and needs to be dealt with. Your pain matters. Your healing matters. You deserve just as much care and compassion as anyone else. Healing begins when you stop fighting yourself and you start saying gently, you start saying, I'm not okay right now, but I'm trying. I'm going to keep trying. I'm not done yet. That simple honesty can be the beginning of hope. Your mind needs compassion and structure and connection to start recovering. Some helpful tools might be therapy. Talking with a therapist gives your thoughts a safe place to land. Cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness therapy, acceptance based therapy, these have all been shown to rewire the brain and reduce depressive symptoms. Make small, achievable goals. Depression tells you to do nothing. The antidote is to do something. When your depression lies tell you not to go be with someone, the way we deal with that is to go be with that someone. Don't go hang out with your friends. I don't have the energy to deal with people. Well, some part of your brain knows that that's what you're needing right then, but the depression is trying to get you to isolate. So just set these small things. When you feel like you shouldn't do it, maybe you need to look at what it's asking you to do. If the result is isolation, then maybe that's what you need to go do. Maybe that's what your mind needs in that moment, that social support. Sometimes just doing small things like brushing your teeth or making your bed or going for a walk around the block, even just 5 minutes. Every tiny act signals to your brain, I'm still here, I still matter, and I'm still trying. Finding a consistent rhythm. Again, a routine is not always fun, but there's a lot of safety and comfort that can be had in routine. Finding that consistent rhythm of waking, eating, sleeping, and moving around and stretching out, exercising, Doing these all in the same times every day, this can help stabilize the brain's chemistry. Think of a routine as gentle hands guiding your day, giving your body and your mind something predictable when everything else feels uncertain. Mindfulness and self talk. Depression speaks in lies, it tells you you're not enough. You got to challenge that voice. Remember, when it says to do one thing and the result is isolation, that's usually what we need to do, not avoid doing. Challenge that voice by simply noticing it and say, you can say, that's my depression talking, not the truth. That's a depression lie. It's trying to get me to isolate because that depression will thrive there. And the longer we let it stay in that isolation state, the more depressed we become. Mindfulness helps us step back from painful thoughts without believing every one of them. So we might say something to the effect of, right now I'm hurting, but this moment can't last forever. Even though it may feel like it, logically, you know it won't. Depression drains your physical energy because the body is under stress, but you can help your body recover in simple ways. Movement. You don't need to run marathons, even gentle movement, stretching, yoga, going for a walk around the block. This releases endorphins, your brain's natural antidepressant. One 10-minute walk can literally shift your brain chemistry towards a better balance. Nutrition. When you're depressed, food can feel like a chore, but your brain runs on nutrients, especially omega 3s, B vitamins, and protein. Even simple meals like soup, eggs, fruit, smoothies, all of these can help stabilize your mood. Depression disrupts sleep in both directions, kind of like the food. Sometimes we'll have too much, sometimes we'll have too little. If we try and set a consistent bedtime routine, lowering a light an hour before bed, and keeping devices away from our beds and our pillows, your brain heals while you sleep. It's not laziness, it's recovery. Just 10 minutes every day of natural sunlight can raise serotonin. It can raise the levels of serotonin and reset your body's clock. Nature reminds us that growth takes time, but it's always happening. Depression thrives in silence and solitude. So, one of the most healing things you can do is to reach out. Remember, fight that depression lie. Even when you don't feel like it, even when you feel like everything inside of you is screaming, no, I need to not be around people. You have to understand that isolation, which is different from being alone, isolation makes depression thrive. So if we want to fight that, it could be something as simple as texting a friend or joining a support group or just sitting quietly with someone that you trust. You don't need the perfect words. Sometimes just asking somebody, can you just sit with me? Just be with me. Sometimes that's enough. When we reach out to someone who's hurting, you remind them and yourself that love is stronger than despair. Social connection doesn't erase depression, but it breaks its hold of isolation. Every shared moment, every laugh, every tear, or every conversation is a reminder that we are meant to heal together, that we are social creatures, that we require each other. For some people, therapy and lifestyle changes help. For others, depression needs perhaps a medicine to help. Antidepressants can help rebalance the brain's chemistry, just like insulin does to help balance blood sugar. There's no shame in that. Medication isn't weakness. Medication can take courage, but it's saying that I'm ready to feel better. I don't want to feel like this anymore. If you've been struggling for a long time and nothing seems to help, maybe you need to go talk to your doctor. Sometimes your brain just needs extra support, and that's okay. Healing doesn't mean that your sadness will disappear overnight. It means that you start having moments, maybe tiny moments, but moments where the light breaks through, where you can see the light through the cracks. Maybe you laugh a little. Maybe you'll notice the warmth of the sun. Maybe you will feel proud for simply getting out of bed. And we all know that some days getting out of bed can be hard. Each of those moments is proof that your story is not over, that you're not done yet, even if you feel overwhelmed. These little things that you do show that you're not beat, not yet. Hopefully, you never are. But this will help give you hope and it will help you to start healing. We need to remember that. If you're listening and you feel stuck, please don't give up on yourself. Healing is not about speed, it's about direction. Keep moving forward towards the things that keep you alive. Reach out for help, rest when you need to, and believe that your heart and your brain can find balance again because they can. None of this will last forever. Just hang on. Don't lose hope. The same mind that feels pain can also heal. The same body that's tired can grow strong again. The same heart that feels broken can learn to love life once more. You could include a brief guided reflection in your daily talks with yourself. Just remind yourself that you're not done yet. Remind yourself that you are important, that you should not lose hope, that you should keep trying. Now, I want you to stop and I want you to take a breath again. Deep breath, just like we've talked about. You don't need to fix everything today. Healing doesn't mean you'll never struggle again. It means that you're going to keep showing up. It means you're going to keep trying. So, when it comes to depression, because it hits so many of us, we all know someone that is struggling or has struggled with depression. And so sometimes people wonder, what can they do to help? Well, the truth is, you don't have to fix them. You just have to be there. One of the hardest things in the world is watching someone that you care about sink into depression. You want to help, but you don't know how. You worry about saying the wrong thing, or maybe they'll push you away, and then you start to feel helpless yourself. But the truth is, you can make a difference. Even the smallest act of kindness, the simplest word of care can help pull someone back towards hope. Let's talk about what that really looks like. How to help someone who's hurting in a way that truly matters. First, maybe listen more than you speak. When someone opens up about their depression, they're not asking you to fix them. They're asking you to hear them. Sometimes the most healing thing you can say is simply, I'm here. I'm not going to let you go through this alone. I'll be with you. You can let them talk. You can let them cry. It's okay to let them sit in silence if that's what they want. You don't need the perfect words. You just need to be present. You need to show them that you care. Listening to someone says, you're safe with me. And for someone in the darkness of depression, that is priceless. Knowing that they have someone that they can be safe with, someone that listens, someone that hears them, someone that can recognize that they're hurting and is willing to be there with them. That can make all the difference. We should try to avoid minimizing or trying to cheer them up. It's it's natural to want to help someone feel better, to say things like, "Oh, just be more positive," or "You have so much to be grateful for." But depression doesn't respond well to pep talks. In fact, those phrases can make people feel unseen and unheard and like their pain is not valid. Instead, you could say, I can't imagine how hard this is, but I'm here for you. I'm not going anywhere. You are important to me. You do not have to pretend to be okay with me. This is what support sounds like. Not fixing, not judging, just being there. letting them know that you are there and that you care. This is what I call being a lighthouse. When I refer to someone being a lighthouse, it means they're not running around frantically. It means that they have the light on. And when people need to know where safety is, when people need to know who is there for them, they can see the light on that lighthouse and they know how to guide themselves, perhaps, to somewhere safe. We need to be consistent. Depression can make people withdraw, stop returning. Uh, Depression can make people stop returning calls or cancel plans or seem distant. Don't take it personally. It's not you. I promise they're not rejecting you. They're isolating, but in that isolating, they're fighting to survive. They're fighting with their very own thoughts. They're trying so hard just to feel good enough to make it through another day. Keep showing up in quiet ways. Keep that light on the lighthouse on. Send them a message saying, hey, just thinking about you, checking on you, making sure that you're all right, or if you need anything, you can tell me. Perhaps drop off a muffin or a banana or something that they like. Just saying, again, I'm just thinking about you. I care about you. I'm here for you. This is what they need to hear. Invite them out. Even if they say no, they're not rejecting you. They are perhaps giving into those depression lies, but that's not a rejection of you. Your consistency communicates love, even when words don't get through. Sometimes healing begins not because of one big gesture, but because someone kept caring long enough for the person to believe that they matter. That's important. When you're struggling with depression, one of the first things that goes is your sense of self worth. You don't feel like you matter anymore. If you feel like they need to talk to somebody, a doctor or a therapist, please address it with them gently. If you notice someone is sinking deeper, losing interest in everything, struggling to function, or mentioning hopelessness, gently encourage them to seek help. You can say things like, you don't have to do this alone. Talking to a counselor or a doctor can really help. Or perhaps offer to go with them if you think that might be something that they would accept to help them take that step. Sometimes people just need a little help making that first step. If they resist, don't argue. Keep offering quiet reminders that getting help is a sign of strength and not failure. Please watch for signs of crisis. If you hear someone talking to you about wanting to die, feeling like a burden, or saying things like, it would be better if I wasn't here, that is dangerous talk. That is something that needs to be addressed. In that moment, stay with them. Don't leave them alone. Let them know that you care deeply, that you help, that you can help, and there is others who can help. You can say things like, I'm worried about you and I want to help you. I want you to get through this. There is a helpline in the United States. You can call or text 988. It is a suicide and crisis lifeline. They are available 24/7 and they can guide both of you through what to do next. You might literally save a life just by staying, just by caring, and by acting. You also need to take care of yourself. You need to look at yourself and you need to realize the toll that caring for someone in depression can take on you. It's okay to admit that it's hard. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So you have to make sure that you rest, you set boundaries, and you reach out for your own support when you need it. Helping someone heal does not mean sacrificing your own well being, it means modeling it. When you show people going through depression that you can take care of yourself and still care for them, it gives them permission to do the same. to start taking care of themselves. It gives them hope that they can get there. We should remind them and ourselves that healing is possible. Even when depression feels endless, it's not permanent. Brains can heal, hearts can heal, lives can rebuild. Sometimes hope has to be borrowed, and that's okay. When your loved one cannot see the light, you can hold it for them. You can shine the light from your lighthouse so they see you, so they know you care. After a while, when they see your light and they come to you and they look for that light, they will find their own hope. If someone you love is struggling right now, don't underestimate the power of your presence. One honest conversation, one act of caring, one moment of connection can remind them that they are not alone. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to care consistently, compassionately, and without judgment. Because sometimes love doesn't heal everything right away, but it can keep someone alive long enough for the healing to begin, for the healing to set. If you're supporting someone, remember to set your own boundaries. You must practice self-care. You have to take care of yourself because it can be a slippery slope, if you will. If you've spent too much time without taking care of yourself, caring for someone going through depression, you might find yourself slipping into that depression. When you're in the middle of depression, hope can feel like a foreign word. But even when you can't feel it, hope still exists. Sometimes hope looks like getting through just even one more day. If not even one more day, just one more hour. Sometimes that's what we need. We just need enough hope just to get through the next little bit. Hope is such a small word, but it can mean all the difference between giving up and hanging on for just one more day. When someone is in the depths of depression, hope often feels far away. It's not that they don't want to believe things can get better. It's that depression steals that belief. It tells them depression lies. It tells them that they're broken, that nothing will change, that no one would notice if they just disappeared. Note that those depression lies always come back to isolation. It's what depression does. It blocks out the light. It convinces the mind that the darkness is permanent, but it's not. Hope isn't about pretending that everything is okay. It's not blind optimism or toxic positivity. Real hope is quieter, stronger, and more honest. Real hope says, this moment hurts, but it won't last forever. Hope says, I don't know how, but I'm going to keep trying. Hope says, there is still something or someone worth hanging on for. Hope is the thread that keeps people connected to life. When everything else feels disconnected, it's not a cure, it's a compass. It helps you remember which direction to look toward healing, towards tomorrow, towards the possibility of seeing a light again, towards the possibility of being happy again, towards feeling loved and connected again. Here's something incredible. Hope isn't just emotional, it's biological. When we experience hope, the brain releases chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which help restore motivation and calm. Hope literally reawakens the part of the brain that depression numbs, that the ones that are responsible for pleasure, reward, and forward movement. That means that even the smallest spark of hope can start to change what's happening physically inside of you. Every time you think, maybe I can try again, your brain starts to shift towards the positive. That's that's how powerful hope is. It's not a feeling that follows change, it's often the start of it. Sometimes we don't see hope. We have a hard time finding hope. So perhaps we can borrow hope from someone else. Sometimes when you're depressed, you cannot create your own hope, and that's okay. Try borrowing it. Talk to the friend who believes in you, who loves you. Talk to the family that cares about you and wants you to succeed. From a stranger's story of survival, from a sunrise, a song, or even from this very conversation, you can find hope, even if you have to borrow it from any of these. I've done it from many songs. I've even taken hope from some strangers. Hope can be shared. And like a candle, lighting another candle, it doesn't diminish the giver, it multiplies it. So if you're listening to this and you are struggling, please know you don't have to be the source of your own hope right now. You just have to be willing to let someone else hold that for a minute. Let someone else's light in their lighthouse shine for you and show you what to do and where to go. You just have to be willing until such a time as your light comes on by itself, until your light is returned. Hope doesn't return all at once. It comes in tiny moments. Getting out of bed after days and not wanting to get out of bed, or getting out of bed and taking a shower, or texting a friend, reaching out, or stepping outside and telling yourself to go for a walk, even if it's a short one, just a few minutes. Those small acts are proof that hope is still alive, even when you cannot feel it. Each one of these statements, I want you to think about these for a second. I'm still here. I have not given up. And that's something I can be proud of. Hope isn't the absence of struggle. It's the courage to keep going when we struggle. If we look at the science and the spirit of hope, research shows that people who feel hopeful, even in difficult times, will recover faster, respond better to treatment, and experience less relapse. But beyond the science, hope is also spiritual. It connects us to something larger, to love, to purpose, to meaning. It reminds us that life is worth living even when we don't fully understand it. Hope whispers, "You're not finished yet." Hope says, "You've still got more story to write in your life." Hope says, "I've got to keep going." When we listen to that whisper, when we dare to believe that tomorrow might bring something new, hope starts to sprout. Healing starts to begin. If you're listening to this right now and you're feeling lost, please don't mistake the silence inside of you for emptiness. It's not emptiness, it's space. Space where healing can grow slowly and quietly, one heartbeat at a time. Just hold on. Reach out. Let someone else believe in you until you can believe in yourself again. Because hope isn't gone, it's waiting. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still listening, it means it's never truly gone. It's still there. Sometimes we can't see it, sometimes we can't hear it, but it's there. You have survived every one of the hardest days of your life. You have come through. You are still here. That strength is still in you. We all know someone who has come through depression and found meaning again. Support. You can get that through groups, support groups. You can get it through therapy or medication to help reclaim your life one piece at a time. Reach out to a trusted friend or family member. If you don't have those or nobody's available, then please call the crisis line. Again, in the United States, that's 988. 24/7. It's always there. Someone is always there and will talk to you and help you understand how to go forward. Today, we talked about what depression really is. It's not just sadness, not just feeling down, but a deep physical emotion, emotional, even a chemical struggle that affects both the body and the mind. We've talked about what that does, about how it drains energy, silences joy, and clouds the ability to see the future. We've talked about what we can do to heal it, compassion and social connection above all. Hope, above all, hope. Don't ever lose your hope. Even when we can't see it and can't hear it, we need to remember it's there and we need to find it because that can make a difference. And that's where friends can come in so helpful. Hope doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden fine. Hope means you've decided to stay open, to believe that things can change, even if you don't see how right now. If you're listening right now and you're in that quiet, heavy place, know this: you are not broken. You are not weak. You are human. And human means feeling, struggling, and perhaps fighting to find reasons to keep going sometimes. You don't have to fight this battle alone. There are people who care, who sit with you in the dark, who will help you find your way back to the light. Go find your lighthouse. Be a lighthouse for others. Reach out to a friend. Talk to someone. If you ever find yourself in a place where it feels too heavy to go on, please reach out. You can always call 98. I know I say that number a lot in this because I want you guys to know that it's there, and I want you to remember that crisis line will always be open. And I'm sure if you're not in the United States, that your country probably has something similar. Depression may tell you that you're alone, but that is a depression lie. I need you. I want you to remember that you belong, that you matter. You are special. There is no other you in this world. There is only one. You're unique. Your story isn't over. You have so much to offer this world that no one else can. No one can share all the things that you can. You're a gift. We need you to share your knowledge, your experience, and your perspective. There's still laughter waiting for you. There's still warmth, still purpose, still mornings where you wake up and realize that you made it through. One breath, one heartbeat, one small moment of courage at a time. That is how healing happens. So please hold on, keep going, and let hope be your companion, even if right now it's only a flicker, because a flicker is enough to light the way forward. Some questions I would like you to understand, or to ask yourself rather. What am I feeling right now? Not what should I be feeling right now, but what am I feeling right now? If I had to describe my emotions as weather, what is today's forecast? When I start noticing things feeling heavier more than usual, when did that start? Is there something I've been avoiding feeling or talking about? What do I need most right now? Is it rest, comfort, social connection? These are important questions to help us to understand what we're feeling. We need to challenge those depressive thoughts because a lot of those are depression lies. Depression fills your mind with harsh, distorted messages. These questions help you gently examine whether those thoughts are really true. What's the story my depression is telling me right now? Is there any evidence that contradicts this story? If a friend I loved felt this way about themselves, what would I tell them? Am I assuming things about the future that I cannot actually know yet? Could this feeling be temporary, even if my mind says it's forever? We can find small moments of strength. Ask yourself these questions. What's one thing I did today, no matter how small, that maybe took effort or courage to do, and I did it? Have I survived something hard before? Well, what helped me then? What keeps me going even when I want to stop? Who or what gives my life a small sense of meaning or connection? What's one tiny thing I can do today to show myself care, even if I don't feel like it? Finding a way to reconnect with hope. When hope feels far away, these questions might help you find traces of it again. Can I imagine the possibility that things could feel a little better someday? What would better look like for me, even if it's just 5% better? Who has shown me kindness or understanding lately, even in small ways? If I could borrow hope from someone who believes in me, whose voice would I be hearing? What would I say to my future self 5 years from now, knowing that they made it through? Another thing we can do is check in on ourselves. Ask yourself these questions. Have I eaten, hydrated, or slept enough today? Have I spent any time outside or moved my body at all? Is there simply something easy that I could do to make today a little more doable, like a shower or a walk or even opening a window? Who could I reach out to, even with just a text that says, I'm not okay? What would it look like to ask for help? And what's one small way I could start? And so important. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with anybody going through depression. Use compassion. If you're struggling with depression, you need to turn off depression's cruel self talk. Maybe look at some of these questions. What would it mean if to treat myself with the same kindness that I would give a hurting child? Have I been expecting too much of myself while I'm struggling? Can I give myself permission to rest without guilt? What do I need to forgive myself for today? Can I believe, even for a moment, that I deserve to heal? When things feel too heavy, when you're overwhelmed, clarity and safety and connectedness are important. So ask yourself, am I safe right now? Do I need someone with me, or do I need to talk with someone right away? If I don't feel safe and I don't feel like there's anyone I can talk to, you can call 988. That is the crisis line. What would it look like to survive this hour, just this hour, and let tomorrow wait? Can I remember that help exists? Can I remember that I don't have to go through this alone? These questions aren't meant to fix everything. They're meant to open a little space inside of you, a space where you can breathe again, a space where healing has room to begin. If this episode has spoken to you, or if you know of someone who might need it, please share it with them. Sometimes a single voice of understanding can be the first step towards healing. Until next time, remember, you are not alone. You are stronger than you know, and hope, no matter how small, is still there, even if you don't see it, because you're still here and we want you here. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode has spoken to you, share it with someone who might need to hear it, please. So until next time, take care of your heart, and remember, the light will always find its way back if you let it. Please take care of yourself this week. Look at yourself and look at the people around you. Use compassion. Give them hope. Yours if they can't see it. If you can't see it, then maybe lean on someone else's. Please take care of yourself. Know that you matter, you are special, and you deserve all the goodness in the world. Take care of yourself. I will talk to you again next week on our next episode. Until then, have a wonderful day.